Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to this latest edition of Read Team Foss, where I take old stories I've narrated and update them to modern audio standards. This particular story is called The Unfought War, written by Alt Cypher.
Thank you for seeing me before.
Emperor Wakala trailed off. The quills along his head and spine were lowered in defeat. His normal emerald green skin was lusterless and sickly yellow-green. Secretary General Kyne sat down across from him. "It was the least I could do," Secretary Kyne said. His silk suit shushed quietly as he sat.
I can't believe that I'll go down as the lost Takeda Emperor, the great failure. I can already hear the songs they'll sing of my defeat,"
the Emperor said. "Well, empires fall," the Secretary said. "I suppose someone had to be the last."
"If it were not for our cursed luck, I believe that we would have routed you humans," the Emperor said. "The gods must have a special place in their hearts for a race like you."
"Luck? Is that honestly what you think? You think it was luck that brought us here today? That has me accepting your surrender." "No, Emperor, it wasn't luck that brought you low," the Secretary said.
"Oh, you claim this as a victory? It is a poor player who blames the sun for his failure and the winds for his victory."
The Secretary smiled. "There wasn't any luck involved," he said. He paused for a moment, considering, then said, "Well, not much, anyways. A tiny bit, maybe. No, it was hard work and dedication that won the war for us."
"Ha!" The Emperor barked out a laugh, and his quills fluttered to life for a moment. "It was fortune's turn that made you victorious, human, whatever you may claim out there in the front of all the eyes of the galaxy. In here it is just us, and I know the truth."
The Secretary nodded once and then spoke. "Do you know how many warships we have?"
"Not nearly enough to stop us,"
the Emperor said. "Oh no, not nearly enough," the Secretary said. "We have full 6 carrier groups and maybe another dozen frigates and fighter groups. Barely enough to defend Earth and our colonies."
"You think to rub your victory in my face now? We know we are stronger than you, in every way," the Emperor said.
"We did too," the Secretary said. "When you launched your first attack on Caltea, you took over the whole planet in about an hour. We got just enough intel to know that we were woefully outgunned."
"And yet, it is you accepting my surrender," the Emperor said.
"True. You had a much more powerful military. We had no time to build up a force that could stand against you. We asked all the other races in the galaxy. They told us that the Dedeka set their sights on conquering us. That was it. There was no use in fighting. There would just be more dead humans when we surrendered. We asked for help from everyone we knew. Do you know what we found? The whole galaxy was terrified of you. Not one single species stood by us. I suppose I can't really blame them. Your reputation as fearsome warriors was well earned."
The Emperor's eyes narrowed as he listened to the Secretary General. "I feel," the Emperor said, "as though you are dragging this out because you enjoy it. You tell me you knew that you could not stand against us. You tell me no other race would come to your aid. You tell us your people feared our warriors. But yet it is I who is defeated. Tell your story and be done with it."
"I'm getting there," the Secretary said. "See, in all those conversations we had about you and how to fight you, we learned a few more things than just your military might. For instance, you've conquered a number of worlds, and most of them are at the edge of starvation because of mismanagement. We heard about the grain riots in Talala. We heard about the farmers marching on Dinka. We heard about how most of your imperial governors live in fortresses because they don't feel safe enough to walk down the streets. This gave us an idea."
"And that was?"
"I hosted a state visit from Frenish. Their president is a lovely woman who has served for longer than I've been alive. Somewhere over the desert course, we began discussing your people. That's when I found out you owe money over half the galaxy. You've taken out loans pretty regularly, especially just before your people announced some big military expansion project. Your entire empire is living paycheck to paycheck. Of course, everyone was reluctant to call it in because of your military."
The Emperor sat back in his chair. His quills rustled.
"Well, we don't have much of a military," the Secretary said, "but we've got a hell of an economy. Knowing that your broke ass couldn't fund an invasion on your own, we felled the water. The first thing we did was start taking out massive loans of our own. That project to build the Dyson sphere around Earth's solar system? Fake. We moved some construction equipment around to really sell it. There is no way I'm putting in a giant bubble around my home star system. But I needed something big enough to justify the massive loads.
The Emperor's grinding his teeth.
Next, the secretary continued, we had a chat with the Galactic Bank. You know, those people that set the prime interest rate. Well, they were all quite noble in their own way, and they had rules about getting involved in interspecies conflicts. However, we talked with Mr. Portrayed. I'm sure you've heard his name in the news recently. He's the one accused of taking bribes in several ethics violations. Well, those allegations are true. We bribed him. We bribed the hell out of him. Then we leaked it.
You acted dishonorably, then told people.
The Emperor could not mask his outrage. Absolutely, the secretary said. We made sure the entire galaxy knew. It made the whole bank look suspicious that someone so well-placed would be bribed. Maybe their policies weren't as pure and noble as everyone thought. Now, the investigation will show Mr. Portrayed acted alone in the banker's fight. That will take time, at least a year or two. While that's going on, the bank is going to be very conservative in their actions, which means they're not going to change interest rates much, if at all, until this investigation is over. Now, if the interest rates don't change and Earth is taking out massive loans across the galaxy, there is not much capital left for you to borrow. So we choked off your money supply.
We still have our fleet,
the Emperor said. I'm getting to that, the secretary said. See, even your soldiers won't work for free, but that's not necessarily fast enough. So we went out to several other races, the Bok, the Chenu, and the Agro. You recognize them, don't you?
We buy food from them, the Emperor said quietly.
Yes, quite a lot of food, actually, the secretary said. We started purchasing everything they had, drove the price sky high, and, as we just discussed, you couldn't put your hands on any money. When a soldier hears his pay's been held up and that his family back home is starving, well, he's bound to reconsider his employment.
That's when we forced them to work, the Emperor said.
The secretary's face cracked open in a wide, brilliant smile. You sure did, he said. You nationalized everything, every factory, every farm, every shop. But even you don't have an army large enough to pacify every citizen in your empire and fight a war at the same time. Besides, we've had our own dalliance with government-run economies, and they never seem to play out like people expect. There's usually a lot of violence.
We made them work,
the Emperor said. And they did. For a time, the secretary said. You sent your son and heir to address the workers who were out on strike. Someone, you've never found out who, chucked a brick at his head. The whole thing erupted into violence, and your son got killed.
Are you saying that you killed my son?
The Emperor's quills were standing on end. No, the secretary said. I'm saying I bribed one of your citizens to throw that brick, and one of his guards to be a little less than fully committed to protecting your boy. Do you know what it took? Do you want to know how much your boy's life cost me? The Emperor glared at the human. The brick cost me 2 kilos of rice, the secretary said. The guard cost me half that. Your boy died for goods that can be purchased on my world for about $10. The Emperor's hand gripped the table and dug into the metal. We won the war, the secretary said. Just not the one you were fighting. Now let's walk out to the podium and you can sign your surrender papers. I promise you that we'll be magnanimous in victory. Your people will be fed and safe, your military will be decommissioned, and your empire will be broken apart. But the people will live. We may even consider letting you keep an imperial position, as a figurehead, mind you. The Emperor's eyes twitched, and his breathing was ragged.
You think to disgrace me even further?
We could kill you instead, the secretary said. But whether you live or die, know this. Humans have defeated you, and your empire is no more. We bested you not with guns and ships, but with brains and money. End of story. I would like to thank our T5 members and patrons, Caspar Arnholtz, John Creighton, Vidmori, 050, Dragzoon WRE, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.